views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas. As you can see, I am joined with the one and only Mr. Dan Sperry, the incredible shock illusionist. Yes, he absolutely deserves a round of applause. I am so excited to have you on. We had you on, gosh, probably, I think, 2 years or so now.
Yeah.
But we finally got you back on, and you were just kicking butt and taking names. And I mean, truly, you were just such an incredible illusionist, and you bring such a unique flavor to what you do, and everyone that watches you just falls in love with you. So I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on the show.
Yes, absolutely. So let's get right into it. So obviously you're an illusionist.
Yep. Yeah.
So first of all, how
stayed
did
the same since last time?
That's right.
Yeah.
So how did you actually get involved with being an illusionist? And I mean, because you started when you were very young, right?
Yeah, I started, well, the interest started when I was like 5 years old.
Wow.
And I didn't know, I knew what magic was, but I didn't know what an illusionist or like big magic. I only knew magic at that point, probably like you or most people. You see, at that age, you see maybe a clown doing magic tricks, or maybe a guy at your library or school. So that was all I really knew about magic tricks. And David Copperfield was touring, and he toured to the Minneapolis, which is close to where I grew up. And my grandparents took me to see him, and he did this thing in his show where at the time this was like the first thing he would do in the very beginning, is he did like a version of like sawing in half, but it was an escape where he'd get chained to a table, and there was this big spinning buzz saw and like almost like an hourglass timer, and as the sand would go down, the spinning saw would get closer and closer and closer. Well, then the premise is that it malfunctions, something goes wrong, and the saw falls too early, and you see him actually get cut in half, and then he's like dead. And when he first started doing this, like people were passing out and like freaking out and all this, and me at 5 years old too, not knowing who David Copperfield was, not really knowing that magic could be big and theatrical with lights and fog and all that stuff. Right. I thought that we just saw some guy die. I thought like it was legit, just like other people at times. Yeah. So I was like, what is going on here? And I freaked out, and we had to go into the lobby and leave the show because I was making such a ruckus and just a freak out. and we didn't really go back in and see the rest of the show. I never saw him get like put back together. So I just figured, he's dead, And yeah, so that was like the first real sort of introduction, because like I said, I'd seen magic before, because I knew what it was. When I was told, you get to stay up past your bedtime because we're going to see a magic show, but I didn't know what was going on there. Right. And so that's what I saw, that maybe you could say sparked curiosity, but also maybe like it made me wonder like is this entertainment? I don't understand. And so I was given like little magic kits, from the toy store and stuff. So that's what got me interested, and I would play with that stuff, and books from like the library, or like when bookstores were still around more obviously than they are now. I'd like to go to like the puzzles section, and that's where they also had magic books. So I would flip through them while like my mom or dad were looking for other books. And I remember trying to look at the pictures and try and remember something. So because I didn't have money at the time.
Right,
I
yeah.
might have had an allowance, but it certainly wasn't anything to buy
Right.
a book from a bookstore.
Absolutely.
So I would like try and take mental pictures of something that looked interesting, and then try and go and recreate it at home. Um, and then when I was older, uh, I don't even know why. I just asked for Christmas for real magic tricks because somehow I knew that you don't get uh, like professional magic
Right.
tricks or even pro super magic tricks. You don't get those from the magic kits from the toy store. I don't know how I knew that, but somehow I did. And there was a magic shop in Minneapolis. It's actually still open. It's the oldest. Like they call it brick and mortar, like
Yeah,
physical.
right.
It's the oldest brick and mortar magic shop in the United States. It's still
Wow.
open. You can still go there. And
Wow.
so I got taken there. And I mean, I guess it was pretty good Christmas. One of those where like I didn't really open anything. They were just like, I don't know, my kid wants to learn something. What's good.
Yeah.
And so I got like a couple real basic, like very very basic things,
Yeah.
and then that's kind of what started it. And I would play with that, take it to like show and tell, and show kids at school and stuff. And then then again, even more so, was getting older and older. It just sort of snowballed. There was a local guy that did birthday parties, but he dressed as a clown, and so he would like twist balloons and then do magic. But that was I wanted to learn more, but there was no resource. The internet wasn't around then,
Right.
or it was, but the government
Very
had
limited,
it.
yeah.
We didn't have it yet, but like the government did, and so. We had to ask this guy, and he like owned a restaurant, so he wasn't like a magic teacher, but he was cool enough to like let me tag along to like a Cub Scout show or something that he was doing to watch like how he does these things, and then I'd borrow some of his stuff, and it was really cool of him to let me do that, and then he was actually getting out of it. He didn't want to do that anymore, and so as I got older, he would start referring shows to me to give me a chance to take what I learned and what he had
cool.
showed me to take over, like a birthday
Yeah.
party or something like that. But I had to dress as a clown because they wanted a clown, but I didn't want to be a clown.
Right.
But that was like that's what they wanted, so I take gigs. So like the first couple gigs, I had like a really terrible clown costume, and I didn't have a clown name. He had a clown name. He was like legit. I wasn't, and so that didn't last too long. Thankfully. I didn't have
Yes,
to
no,
stay a
moved on
clown.
way bigger, better.
Yeah, and then just kind of kept evolving and growing and with different opportunities and different things that I pursued with it, and then ended up here in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah,
like you do.
Well, yeah, no big. No, but I mean, really, you've had just an amazing career. Obviously, I mean, truly, everyone has seen you on. I mean, you have 10,000 viral videos. People have seen you on every single show, you name it. Basically, you've been on. And even at 17 years old, you were one of the youngest people to be a headliner at the Magic Castle, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which you can't really do. It's 21 and over. Right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't even a member. This is still when I was living in Minnesota.
Wow.
And I'd done an appearance, like a conference thing, and I was one of the featured guests at it, and the president of the Magic Castle was there, and he saw my act and just said, hey, have you ever wanted to work in the Magic Castle? And I was like, well, yeah, and he's like, would you want to? And I was like, yep. And I remember he was like, he's like that, and I was like, yeah, I mean, but I'm not a member. I'm not even 21 yet, and he was just like, doesn't matter. I'm the president, so I'm gonna set it up and
That's
make sure it
right.
happens. And that was cool because like I'd been to L.A.
Yeah.
maybe once before when I was like 12. My mom took me to Disneyland because my aunt used to live out there, and she worked for Universal Studios in the corporate aspect of it. So she like hooked us up with tickets into Universal as well, and so but I was like 11 or something, I think, when we did that, and so I didn't really remember much. And so at
Right.
17, I flew out to LA, and a buddy of mine that was a magician that I knew he picked me up from the airport and took me to the Magic Castle, and helped me get set up. And then I was just kind of on my own, like running amok in Hollywood at 17. Just I don't know. It was pretty crazy, and it was a good time. My first guest on my guest list at the castle was Heidi Fleiss because I ran into her on Hollywood Boulevard, and I didn't know. I knew who she was, kind of, but not exactly. And I was, I was like, oh, look, it's you or whatever. And she had opened like a store of some kind, makeup and other girly things or something. And I don't know. I was in there for some reason. I don't know why I was in her store, but I was in there, and she was like actually hanging stuff, and so yeah, I don't know. I just went up and introduced myself, and she was like, well, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm working the Magic Castle. And then she was like, I hadn't been there in years. Can I bring my brother? And I was like, yep. And put him on the guest list. And
That's right.
yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was good time.
No, I mean, first of all, it's a huge honor to even be invited. And then at 17, when you weren't even really allowed to be able to be a headliner, that is really a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, it was cool, even though like I couldn't really go out and walk around because even though I was performing, I couldn't go out into the rest of the clubhouse. So before they officially opened, I'd always go in early before they opened the doors, while everybody was setting up or cleaning or food prepping. And that's when I could kind of sneak around and walk around before anybody else was there. So I was able to kind of, look at some things and whatnot. But for the rest of it, like, that was part of the deal. Like, just to respect the rules, I had to stay basically backstage and hang out there. Which, like, at that point, I still, even if that was, I wouldn't care.
No,
I totally get
that's
it.
so cool.
Yeah. So I was just happy to be there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I do, like I said, you're such a unique performer, and you have this really cool persona that you kind of do like a creepy, like everyone. It's really an awesome thing what you do. It's such a unique thing that I don't think anyone has really seen before. So how did you kind of develop that? Because you have such a great persona and a character. I don't know how you really say it, like a character kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's
people
really
call
amazing.
it different things.
Yeah.
I don't know. That I not really sure. It just sort of came from I liked horror movies. When I was younger, and like when I was really young, my friends and I had a friend. He would write horror movie scripts, and then we'd get our friends together and film the movie that he wrote, and I would do the makeup for it because I had all the makers. I was into like Tom Savini stuff and had all the kits and Fangoria magazines and would practice on myself or whatever. And so yeah, he would write it. I was also the only one that had a video camera because I had taken my PlayStation to a pawn shop to exchange it for a video camera so I could videotape me practicing magic and then review it and videotape my shows so I could review it. And so I had a camera. So I also like would be like the camera guy and do the makeup and stuff, and then all our other friends get them together and give them the script, and you're gonna be Billy and you're gonna be whatever. And so we were way into that, and I also had several friends and I were into more. I mean, they were into like kind of more traditional punk rock stuff, like the Ramones, which I was into as well. But I liked Misfits and even like Alice Cooper. But I liked more what Misfits was doing, and especially because of the whole like monster thing. My dad was into Universal Studios monsters like Swamp Thing and all that stuff, and he would always deck out the house for Halloween when I was young, and tape up black trash bags or leaf bags and things and put a strobe light on it and some things like that, a mat that you step on it and the light would go off or something. So I was way into that stuff as well, and I think that sort of like just kind of influenced it to a degree in a way, and then I don't know. Just kind of came out.
Kind of everything, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, and it wasn't. I really didn't start speaking until like about 2009.
Oh, really?
Because I was really too afraid to. Because I didn't think I could make what I was doing interesting with the look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine, I was in a show. It was a show that was in town called World's Greatest Magic Show, and that's the show that brought me out here and gave me like the deal, the contract for that had me move out here. Because prior to that, I was living in Chicago, and I was a full-time like kids show magician, and I would do like birthday parties and libraries.
It's a big difference to
schools,
what
yeah.
you're doing.
And then on weekends, I would go to like goth clubs and
Right.
and do all that and open for like bands and DJs, and then get all spooky and weird, and then back during the week, take my piercings out or whatever, and kind of slick my hair back, and then go and do the more traditional shows, right? And so I could talk during the kid shows. I just, because my kid show was based off of a lot of like stuff like Ren and Stimpy and South Park and Simpsons and things like that influenced me, that I thought was funny, farts and boogers and whatever and pee and things like that. Things I thought kids liked. I don't know. And so I could talk with that. And so anyways, fast forward. Now I'm backstage at World's Greatest Magic in town here, and we talk to each other and sort of rib on each other a lot backstage. Or we did at the time. I did with those guys a lot, and one of the guys just said, you should start talking on stage. I think it could work. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't know if that would be okay. And then I just started doing it, and I was really like nervous a bit about it too, because being from Minnesota, I know I pronounce things differently, so I would work even harder to change my voice, because I thought it would be even more stupid that I had the makeup and hair and the look, and then now I'm talking, but now I talk like I'm in Fargo. It just didn't make sense to me. And then over the course of time, I just kind of said, screw it, I'm just gonna go do whatever I like, and and that's it.
No, I think it worked. And I like I said, truly everyone loves your like what you do. You're so, because first of all, you're so talented. You have incredible illusions that I don't know how you could even think of doing some of the stuff you do, and I'm so confused.
That was the first show you saw live, right? Like,
yeah,
you had never seen me
so it was
live
the first
before.
live show.
Yeah, okay,
first
that's
time.
what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, I have seen plenty of illusionists and everything, but really, you were truly phenomenal, like top of the list. You were just incredible, and all like how you do it up close. I mean, it's just really, it's amazing. And so you add that character too, and what you say and your jokes and everything. It's just, you put on one heck of a show. And I did want to talk about Black Magic Wednesdays too, because that is so cool. And I wanted to go for a while, and then I finally just turned 21, and so I was like, okay, we're going.
Yeah.
And we were so happy we were finally able to see it in live.
Yeah, no, it was a nice surprise to see you guys there. But yeah, it was just so that started almost, well, no, we still got some time, but almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And the way it kind of came about was I had done my first big tour of Germany last year, right? And that was like about 2 months of show every day throughout Germany, and we ended in London and everything, and it's the big tour bus, the big semi trucks, and the whole rigmarole and all that, all that nonsense. And so we got back, and me and one of the guys that I've worked with for years, who's been like my main right hand guy, we got back, and we were all jet lagged, and not adjusting right to our sleep, and so we're awake at 3 a.m, and we live close to each other, so we were at the bar, because that's what you do. I don't know, like, you try and make yourself go to sleep somehow. And so we were there, and we were just sitting going like, man, because I think we had like a month or so of a gap before I had to go do other shows, not as big as those, but club shows and whatever.
Right.
So it was like, like 2 months. It was like end of summer before I was out again, and so we were just like, man, like two 2 months. Now the withdrawal. When you work on a project like that, like, well, I mean, you do a lot of those movies and stuff.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you work with, people and you make this thing happen collectively, and then it's like when it's over, and then you have to go back home, and you're used to every day looking forward to being with these people and stuff, and getting to really handpick who I wanted to work with was because I just picked all my friends,
Right.
which was awesome, and we just had a blast. We always have fun when we go out like that, and so now though, it was like woof, like that withdrawal of having a project,
Yeah.
because when we go, I mean, nothing against. I'm not trying to downgrade what I do when I go and do like club shows or whatever.
Oh, no.
But it's a very different thing. We can do that show in our sleep.
Oh,
Like it's
yeah.
like it's a no-brainer. And so we were just like, man, what should we do? And he had talked about like, man, you should. Why don't you work on getting a show here? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather be able to stay on the road, and I'm just not really interested in putting that kind of thing together here.
Right.
But then I thought, like, there really isn't a close-up show in town.
Right.
And then I just started thinking about it, and then making it one day a week allows me time to go on the weekends to do other contracts that I could do. And with one day a week, if something comes up, I can make it go dark or cancel it and take
Yeah.
something else and come back the next week is no big deal. And so we were talking about it, and the bar that I do it at, the Griffin, I had been there when I first moved to town. A friend that I knew that lived here had taken me there, and I thought it was the coolest bar
Oh, it's a really
in,
cool one.
in,
Yeah.
in Vegas. I mean, and there's a lot of bars that try to look like that. Do you know what I mean? With that
Yes.
sort of old and vintagey
Right.
look. But that one's like legit
Really
like that.
authentic,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always tell people it's like if CBGB's, the punk bar in New York, and Harry Potter had a baby. That's
perfect,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's like Hogwarts. It's like punk rock Hogwarts. And
Exactly.
so I remember that they had that kind of like that little hidden back room, and because I'd seen like some little bands play back there and
Right.
stuff, and so I met with him. We like the next day we went downtown to the Griffin, and we just kind of looked at it and checked it out. And another friend of ours knows the owner, just so happens to knows the owner of the building, so that was our in. And then it just sort of really snowballed. Like within a month, we had the sort of like the trial of it, the trial run. They're going to give us 2 weeks to try it, and we were just thinking like, this should be okay because it's only 40 people, and one day a week. It's Wednesday. It's when it's slow for them, or slower.
Right.
It's not like Saturday night or Friday night.
Yeah.
And so we can bring something to this bar. And I always wanted to do it at the Griffin because like we were saying, I just really
Yeah.
liked their ambience,
Yes.
and I thought it was a good fit, better than maybe something else or a different bar. And so so we got it together. We got my lights because we were like, how are we gonna do this? What are we gonna make it? How are we gonna make it look? What's it gonna be like? And originally it was gonna be like strictly like more of like a close-up show, like with just cards and coins, but then we were like, no, let's make it maybe like more in between, like parlor.
Yeah.
So it's not just because if it is just cards and coins and that typical close-up type stuff, that can get really old, and so I wanted to find things that I do in my big stage shows that could play nice up close, and so we took those and designed the show with them combined together, and figured out how we wanted it to look with the lights, because we bring in all those lights. Like none of that room is completely empty when we get there, and so then we build it
Wow.
and set it up and do the show and then break it down and leave in the same night. It's basically like being on tour, but in
Oh,
your
crazy.
own town.
Yeah. Because it looks like it's like permanently set up.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
that.
no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are like all our chairs and everything. Like we
Wow.
in the fog and everything. So we wanted to make this cool theatrical experience that you can't see anywhere else in Vegas or really anywhere else close even.
Yeah.
You can't really see something like this in LA or, well, definitely not Utah, but, I don't know, they're different up there, but they're okay. But and make it cool, and appeal to more of like sort of. I mean, you were there. I don't want to sound derogatory, but just more of like a bar crowd.
Right. Yes,
like
yes.
nobody's really getting dressed up and coming to the show.
Right.
They're coming there, and you get a free drink at the bar when you get your ticket. So it's just to get, to keep getting the bar going, and that's kind of more what I'm used to as well when I play like these other shows, like these club shows and stuff. When I'm on the road stateside, mostly on the weekends and stuff, I'm playing like nightclubs or from opening for bands or whatever. Like that's just the crowd, and that's the crowd that I sort of feed off of really well. And so so it just kind of brings a different crowd. It's that East Arts District D-ish, East Fremont downtown type vibe, because there's still not a lot of tourists come. It's still a lot of locals, and that's what we wanted to appeal to as well, like to create this show that like we don't really advertise. We want to really draw locals in as something cool to do, and kind of have it as like, if you hear about it, like, it's gonna be cool. If you don't hear about it, you're gonna feel like you really missed out, and almost like a I don't want to call it an open secret because there's that weird documentary called that, but like, but you know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it's a secret, but it's not a secret,
Exactly.
and kind of have that vibe, and then we really just only make it happen through word of mouth and social media. And those first 2 weeks, we actually sold out both shows those first 2 weeks, but they had other things on their calendar in that back room, and so we had to take like 2 or 3 weeks off. So we were like, now we just lost our momentum, and but it was fine because then we built it back up through the end of summer, and then going into like Halloween time, it was great, and it's a really good sort of like partnership with the Griffin. They're really cool. They let us do whatever we want. They don't bother us, and we don't bother them for much.
Right.
It's a really nice partnership that's just chill, and the staff there is really great, and take care of the guests very well, and all of that. So I was surprised and happy that it's gone as well as it has been, as we get ready for the 1 year. Pretty soon.
No, and I was gonna say too, it was. I really, it felt like it was even more than 40 people. It was so packed, and it's a Wednesday.
Well, don't tell them. Sometimes we let more people in. I mean, we're not going to turn them away if they got cash money or something. We're going to cram them in. Just pray there's not a fire. So
No, but I mean, it was packed, and people were so into it, and like you said, it was the perfect balance of up close, but still, like you said, the more theatrical feeling towards it too, and still some of the gruesome tricks and everything. I mean, it was an amazing show, and everyone just loved it. I mean, really, it was the whole audience, and the Griffin. I even texted my friends. I was like, I found a new hangout bar because it was so cool.
There's so many people that are even locals that say that, because I mean, you've seen it too. You walk past it, you got Inspire, you got Corduroys right there, Evil Pie, all these kind of open fronted bars where if you walk by you can look in and blah blah. But Griffin, it's just this brick wall and this little door, and so I know so many people that are local that have never been there.
Yeah.
And they do that. They'll come and they'll say like, "Oh my God, the show was great," and I never knew about this place, or I think I've walked by here, but I've never gone in. And and usually like on Mondays and Tuesdays, even early in the night on Wednesdays, it's actually really sort of it's just chill, because they have the candles and the fireplace and the brick, and you can just kind of sit and relax and talk, and it was always the bar that when I had friends come from out of town, even before I was doing my show there, if I had friends from out of town, that's the bar that I would take them to, instead of like I'm gonna take you to, I don't even know any because I don't go on the Strip. So wherever, we're not going to go to the Venetian and go to something there.
Is that right?
Right, yeah. Like, no, like this is something, this is
It's
cool.
cool,
Yeah, and you're not going to get that overly Vegas thing.
Exactly.
And everybody, same thing. That they're there. There's a lot of times because I'll go a couple times throughout the week and just kind of restock them on the flyers or other things that they give away, and people will be there that are like, oh, you're the dude, and we saw you 2 weeks ago, and now we're back. We're coming here because like that. So
It is. It's awesome place.
yeah, they have a very good loyal following. For sure.
And you do too. And I think it's because, really, you're so talented, and your whole show is just amazing. And I can't wait to see you even do more shows because, really, I just think you're incredible. And I've always loved watching you on TV and internet. And now I finally got to see you live. But actually, kind of speaking of which, you were planning on doing a couple little illusions here today, right?
Yeah.
Can we maybe see one?
Yeah, we can do one real quick here. Now this.
I guess we're gonna take a break first, and
Okay,
then we're gonna
that's fine.
set it up. So we will be right back with Dan Sperry.
The CSS Bureau of America is a direct competitor of the BBB. We have a mission to protect American customers and American companies to assure quality transactions by providing conflict resolutions and ridding the web or over-the-phone scams that ruin good businesses who operate on integrity. Give the power to the customers when you visit www.customersayso.us. Companies that wear the logo truly mean business and have recommitted to the American public.
All right, and we are back with Dan Sperry. And all right, so let's get right into it.
Yeah. So this is actually my deck of cards that I sell. You can get these on my website, and with a little book that teaches you like 75 tricks you can do with these. I don't have any books with me, but you can have that.
Oh, thank
so
you.
You can practice.
That's cool.
your own.
I think it's really awesome. I hope you guys can see it. It's really awesome.
This is mine. You can see this is one that I carry with me all the time, so it's held together with tape and it's all beat up and whatever. But this, even though it uses the cards, this is not a card trick though.
Okay.
This is not a card trick. I got a little special magic wand here that I need because there's like a little slit inside like this, like sawing a woman in half. You can see the blade going up and down inside the whole cards. And that's achieved. That's not really a trick because remember, this is not a card trick. That's achieved by me actually going through each and every card and cutting holes in the middle, right? Like, see, that's not really that impressive. That's how you do it. You can make that with your own deck that I gave you, but like I said, it's not a card trick. It's nothing to do with the cards. But hold your hand out, because I'm gonna place the deck on your hands like that, and you're actually gonna feel it start to get a little heavy, and it's gonna get heavier. Do you feel it getting heavy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because, like I said, this is not a card trick. There are no cards in the box whatsoever.
gosh.
It's just actually a steel block. And there are no cards that the knife can even penetrate or go through.
That's crazy.
Yeah, weird, right? Told you, it's not a card trick.
This is
There
not
are no
a card
cards.
trick. That's
Yeah.
right. Wow, that's crazy.
I'll put that back in there.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, it's.
You actually have cards in that one, though.
I
You
do.
don't have,
These are real cards.
yeah, you don't have a
It's a lot
block of
lighter.
steel.
You can tell it's a
Yeah,
lot lighter.
exactly. You don't have a block of steel in there.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
How cool. Wow. See, really, and I think, like I said, the up close is just amazing. Do you like doing up close more or more the theatrical?
Really, I don't mind either way.
Yeah.
As long as I just get to have fun or try to have fun in the audience as well, I'm not picky.
Yeah.
I'm not picky about it. But yeah, and then I've been doing a bit more of that, more like close-up stuff. I think because of the Wednesday show, really kind of because it's a different environment than maybe people are used to seeing me in as well, which is maybe refreshing for people who have seen me before, because there's been people that have come to see the Wednesday show that have seen me on tour in Germany or England or other places, and they've come to see this version as well, and I think that's crazy, but they did it anyways, so it's not very, very flattering, but because of that, and also, like I said, getting more interest from other folks, like we were talking about, the Masters of Illusion is a series on the CW that's going to be season 9. That's
Wow.
actually premiering tomorrow, and I had filmed with them like 10 years ago, and I was just busy doing other things. And when they were getting ready to film this season, they asked me to come and do some more of like the more close-ups stuff that I do like in the Wednesday show. So it actually season 9 premieres tomorrow night. And it runs weekly then throughout the summer. So each week there's a different episode with all the different magicians from all over the world in it, and so I filmed several segments. So I'll be sprinkled throughout summer. But
Oh, cool.
they told me I'm kicking off and opening the series tomorrow night.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, I'm going to see Voltaire, so I won't be watching it. But,
But you'll be recording it,
Yeah, I was
right?
there. I filmed it. I already know what's going on.
Well,
So.
I'll be watching it. I'll let you know how it is.
Okay, all right, that's cool. But even some of the stuff that I filmed, we actually had to reshoot it because nothing against the CW, but it's very more family oriented type of a network, which is fine.
Right.
And I think that's why it's the same network Fool Us was on.
Yes.
And so.
Which you were great on that as well.
Thanks. Yeah, that was like just about 2 years ago, I think, in August. But it's good for Magic because it's a good platform of a network that really showcases it as best they can. And but because it is that, we did have to reshoot a couple things because you saw the Wednesday show. Some of it is a little bit over the top, and so even though it went great, we had to reshoot it with a different audience, later and figure out different ways to do something because some of it was a bit much. Maybe some might say a little bit dangerous, but this is actually a card trick that can be a little bit dangerous because this is also difficult for magicians to do card tricks a lot because magicians, we lose cards. Probably like people that gamble, they play with playing cards all the time, so sometimes they all of a sudden you don't have it anymore. But these are all different, or you throw the deck in the drawer. And then and then it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and that's what happens. So go ahead, take one out, because you're gonna take one out.
Oh, shoot.
You happy
Okay,
there?
there we go.
And
Yeah.
then sign your name on the face, not the red side, but the side you look at. That's the face, or whatever you like. It doesn't matter.
All right.
And I'll take the marker.
Okay.
And usually, they say, don't let me see it, but there's monitors
Right.
and stuff. So I'm gonna try not to look, but you can
Okay,
show
there you go.
everybody
There
as
you
well.
go.
All right.
All right.
So I'm just gonna riffle. You say stop wherever you like, somewhere towards the middle.
Stop.
Right there? All right, I'm going to take that part off. Like everything's fair. Put it down there. In the middle. Fair?
Fair.
Okay, good. Now, we're going to use the knife. Do you have, we're going to use the knife again. Do you have a favorite number or a lucky number?
Yeah.
What is it?
7.
7?
Mm-hmm.
Really? 7's your lucky number?
Yeah.
Okay, that's obvious, I guess. Mine's 13, but 7...
13's a little unlucky. Though.
Yeah, usually people think it's unlucky, but for me, 13 is lucky. What I need you to do is, like, this table's a little wobbly. Can you take your hand and put it down here?
Okay.
Good, but you're gonna have to spread
Oh
your
my
fingers
gosh,
a little bit more
okay.
as I warm up for this. Okay.
Okay.
Spread 'em a little bit more.
Cool.
Yeah, don't move, but just spread 'em a little. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But I need your hand up just like that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, 13 is a little bit unlucky. We'll go one backwards from 13 to 12, so it's closer to 7.
Okay.
Because hopefully this works. All right, place your hand there.
Okay.
Like I said, hopefully this works. I'm just going to set that there. We said 12, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11. So I had you put your hand on number 12. I haven't touched it, but lift up your hand.
Oh.
And it sticks.
Oh my god.
Because of it's a bit balmy
thick.
in here, but and that's it. That's the 3 of
There
hearts
you go.
with yours on number 12, right?
Wow.
On the
That
on the
was
money.
tough, yeah?
Bingo.
Wow, that's crazy.
gonna close
There's my
this
card,
before it
that's
gets
right.
Yeah. But
That's-
and
yeah.
your sleeves are rolled up.
No,
and
no,
everything,
no,
and we don't have
obviously.
anything. Yeah,
This
so it
wasn't
was
set up. He didn't tell me anything about
just
what we're doing.
skill
so
and luck
wow.
and chance.
That's crazy. That's
Thanks,
crazy.
yeah. It gets a little dangerous. We do stuff with knives and things like that.
Yeah, it's
uh,
fine.
in the show.
They're wimps if they can't handle it.
Yeah, yeah. I've had people leave. Actually, there was a couple weeks ago, there was a lady in the front row that just got up and left
Oh, wow.
because she was not having it during the voodoo bit.
Oh.
She was not really
They're,
having that thing.
I
But
think
you
it's
got to come and
awesome.
see the show to
Yes.
see what we're talking about. But,
yeah, and really, the whole show from beginning to end is just amazing, and all the really every part of it is just so cool. So
thanks. Yeah, and it's gonna keep running through the summer. But if you guys aren't in Vegas, if you vacation around, that show that I just said, Masters of Illusion, the TV show, they're doing a live version with a couple of the magicians up in Lake Tahoe at Harrah's throughout the summer. So I'll be there Thursday through Monday, one show each night in Lake Tahoe, and then coming back and doing the Wednesday show, and
Wow.
then flying back, just back and forth.
do you ever sleep?
No. Yeah,
Wow.
actually, I'm napping now.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
into
there you
naps.
go.
I nap during the day. Yeah, so after this, it's just about my nap time, quite frankly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, I
Yeah.
mean, really, you have just such a busy schedule, but it's because you're so in demand. And I mean, to fly back to Utah and Vegas, and you just came back from tour too, correct?
Yeah, I did Germany again, but then we did some other places. I was in Bulgaria, which was fun. I mean, it's one of those places that you don't really think about, and you don't hear a lot about it.
Right.
But for a country that's more poor and still kind of catching up with the times, it was a lot of fun. But I saw like real gypsies, like Pinocchio style, like gypsies, which was cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we also went to Prague. I did my show in Prague on that tour, which was awesome because I'd only been to Prague once, and that's one of my favorite cities because it's just really pretty, and like there's still like cobblestone streets, like so your luggage sucks to like try and get through, but it's really a fun, very pretty city is Prague. But
Oh, cool.
yeah, everywhere else. And this year we made the tour actually a little bit. So the show and the tour a little bit smaller because the year before, last year, it was huge, in like 1,500 seat theaters or whatever. And this one we kind of made it kind of more like my club show, and it worked out because the idea was because I like audiences that maybe 500 to 700 maximum, because I like to be able to feel like I can see everybody and they can see me really looking at them and really interacting with them instead of just kind of staring into the abyss, and so we made it a little bit small, and it worked out really nice because they said a lot of the fans and people that came back said this was, and some of them had been coming since, because I've been going to Germany since like 2012, and they said this was their favorite version of the show because we took inspiration from what we were doing
Gotcha.
at Black Magic Wednesday and kind of trying to find a happy medium, and it worked out, and so doing that, and then still got Zombie Java and
Yes,
doing a video cast too, and a social media cast of UFO sightings. So you can follow me daily UFO sightings on Instagram, and that'll every day I update it with even.
So
crazy
then you
stuff.
believe in like aliens and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because I
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, my dad was a biblical archaeologist, and so when I was a
Wow.
kid, he had he actually went to Egypt and like dug up stuff
Wow.
and whatever.
Wow.
But he never finished his degree. But he changed majors. But he was always reading stuff. Like he taught me how to read hieroglyphics before I could read cursive and write in cursive.
Wow.
But I was always fascinated by these ancient, beings, things, and statues that he had. Like, what's the deal here? And he had like some, I don't know what you'd call them, but like replicas or something, carvings of like the pharaoh's faces from the sarcophaguses with the headdress on like pedestal stands and stuff.
Yeah.
And I never understood like really what's going on here and why does I had a lot of questions about it, and so he would teach me or tell me the different theories, and because with not just archaeology but biblical archaeology, it stemmed from a lot of the stuff that you read about with like the Nephilim and the Anunnaki and things like that kind of brought it together as well. So yeah, I've been into that for a while and just wanted another side project,
Yeah.
because I
You
don't got enough
yeah,
of those.
You're not busy enough at all.
Yeah, right. So
No, that's
yeah,
amazing.
I just started that like just about a month ago.
What a cool thing. Yeah, wow, that's really cool. And I love that stuff too. But
Yeah.
you have so much stuff, and I do want to talk about Zombie Java,
Sure.
which you are drinking from.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, it's easy when it's your own stuff. You get free silverware and,
Yeah.
and stuff, so I don't have to go buy a tumbler. I just take my own and then walk around with it.
No, I saw mine from the last time you brought it. So
Right, yeah.
And it was delicious, by the way. I mean, really, it's really good. It's
Thanks.
really amazing quality coffee too.
Yeah, it's from the oldest coffee importers in the United States.
Wow.
This family from Brooklyn that I know. When I was living in New York, I got to know them when I wanted to make my own coffee, and so they import it for me from South America, and they also have some from Kona, but I don't like Kona blend coffee. Sorry Hawaii if you're watching, but I don't like your coffee, and but they get it from South America, and then they set it up to where they have the catalog. But when I first got involved with them, because I didn't want to have to deal with importing it and bagging it and that, because I was living in New York. I just had a little apartment. I didn't have the room to do that. So they said that they would help me and do that for me. So they import it, and then we picked how I wanted it roasted, and then they roast it to my little thing in their database or something, and they hand roast it, and they take it super serious. It's like third generation now, so they're super serious about it. And for like a block and a half, you can smell the coffee. Like when you get off the subway and you start walking to their warehouse facility, it smells amazing. And they do all kinds of really great flavors, but I like to just keep it simple.
No, I was gonna say you can really taste it sounds crazy, but you can definitely taste the difference. So
it's not Maxwell House. No. Exactly.
No, but it's awesome. And so let's go over everything again, because and first, where can people get the merchandise? Where can people follow you and keep up to date with all your shows?
Yeah,
and
just Sperry.com. That's the portal to everything, pretty much. And then Zombie Java is just zombie-java.com. And yeah, there's all those links there, and it's all I can think of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And the
Or
Black
Facebook
Magic Wednesdays is the Griffin. So if you're in Vegas, coming to Vegas, make it a Wednesday so you can go and see it.
Yeah, and that's just blackmagicwednesday.com, or again, dansperry.com. You can get launched through that as well. So yeah.
Very cool. And then tomorrow, Masters of Illusion, the premiere.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
On
a big
CW.
thing too, because first of all, they have tons of amazing illusionists, but for you to be actually the premiere one for the 9th season, that's a really big.
Yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't trust it, but they are, I guess. I don't know.
No, because you're amazing. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You were really phenomenal, and everyone
Thanks.
just loves you. Even our guest last week, Monica, the Spirit Queen, she was on, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love Dan Sperry." She's like, "Oh my gosh," so she was so excited too. Everyone just truly
Nice.
loves you.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah. Well, thank
Good
you
deal.
so much for
Yeah,
being
thanks
on
for
again.
having me back on.
Yeah, it was really an
deal.
honor, and I'm so excited, and you're always doing a million things, so I can't even imagine what's next. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, like I said, it's almost nap time. So
Right, there you go.
I'm going to go home and have a nap.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please go to dansperry.com, check out everything he has. Zombie-java.com, correct?
Yeah, yep.
And check it out. It really is phenomenal coffee. So thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you. God bless.